That was what Kang Doyan thought as he walked between the tall trees, his boots sinking into wet soil. Even at night, the forest usually breathed. Wind moved the leaves. Insects hummed. Animals shifted in the dark. But tonight, everything felt wrong. The air was heavy, and the silence pressed against his ears. Doyan held his flashlight low, scanning the ground. He had been sent out after a strange signal appeared on the monitoring system near the mountain reserve. The equipment was old, but it had never failed like this before. The signal had flared once, sharp and bright, then vanished. He expected broken equipment. He did not expect the ground to be burned. The trees ahead were bent outward, as if something had fallen from the sky and forced them apart. The soil was black and cracked, still warm. Doyan slowed his steps. His training as a medic returned without effort. He checked the wind. He listened. No fire, no gas, no sound of engines. Then he saw the shape in the dirt. It was metal, but not any kind he recognized. Smooth, curved, half buried in the earth. It reflected the flashlight in a dull, strange way, almost like it swallowed light. Instead of shining it back, Doyan's first thought was that it was military. His second thought was that no human made this. A sound broke through. Silence. It was soft, weak, a breath that struggled to exist. Doyan turned sharply and followed the sound toward a fallen tree. His light caught movement. A figure lay there, half covered by leaves and dirt. At first glance, she looked human. She was small, her body curled slightly, as if trying to protect itself. Her clothes were torn, made of a smooth silver fabric that shimmered faintly. Her skin was pale, almost glowing under the flashlight. Then he saw her eyes. They were open, unfocused, and not quite right. The pupils were shaped differently, stretching wider than any human should. When she tried to speak, the sound was broken and unfamiliar. Doyan froze. Every rule told him to step back, to call for backup, to leave. Instead, he knelt down. "It's okay," he said quietly, though he did not know if she could understand him. "I won't hurt you." The girl turned her head slightly. Her breathing was fast and shallow. Dark fluid stained her side, not red, but deep blue. Alien. The word formed in his mind, heavy and unreal. Doyan swallowed and reached for his medical kit. His hands moved on instinct. Blood was blood. Pain was pain. He had treated soldiers, hikers, even animals. This was different, but fear would not help her survive. He examined the wound carefully. It looked like a burn, but the edges were clean, almost precise. Whatever had caused it was far beyond human weapons. She flinched when he touched her, but she did not pull away. "Stay still," he murmured. Her lips moved again. This time, the sound changed. Rough, slow, like she was forcing her throat to learn new shapes. "Please." The word was broken, but clear. Doyan exhaled sharply. "You speak Korean?" he asked. She shook her head weakly. "Learning," she whispered. That was enough. Doyan cleaned the wound as best he could, ignoring the strange heat that radiated from her skin. He applied a sealant bandage meant for burns. It reacted oddly, tightening too fast, but it held. When he finished, he sat back on his heels. His heart was racing now, the fear finally catching up with him. "What are you?" he asked. Her eyes closed for a moment. When they opened again, there was pain in them, but also something else. Control. "I am a traveler," she said slowly. It was clearly a lie, but it was all she was willing to give. The wind moved through the trees at last, as if the forest had decided to breathe again. Doyan looked around, suddenly aware of how exposed they were. "Can you walk?" he asked. She tried. Her body trembled, and she nearly collapsed. "No," she said. Doyan nodded once. Decision made. He carefully lifted her. She was lighter than she should have been. Her body felt warmer than any human's, like she carried her own heat. "My name is Kang Doyan," he said as he started back toward the trail. "There's a cabin nearby. You'll be safe there." She rested her head against his shoulder. Her voice was barely audible. "I am Alan." The name felt strange in his ears. Behind them, the buried object in the soil shifted slightly. Lights pulsed deep within it, unseen by human eyes. Far above the clouds, something else awakened Dot, something that had been waiting for its queen. The small wooden building stood alone near the edge of the reserve, hidden by trees and rocks. It was old, but strong. He had used it many times during storms and long patrols. Tonight, it felt like the safest place on Earth. Alan barely moved as he carried her inside. Her breathing was steadier now, but her skin had taken on a faint blue shine that worried him. He laid her gently on the narrow bed and turned on the lamp. The light made everything clearer, that her face was human in shape, but the details were not. Her ears were slightly longer. Fine patterns, almost like thin lines of light, rested beneath her skin. They pulsed slowly, as if responding to her heartbeat. Doyan forced himself to stay calm. He removed his jacket and placed it over her to keep her warm, even though her body already felt hot. Then he checked the wound again. The bandage held, but the blue fluid had soaked into the edges. "You're stable," he said quietly. "That's good." Alan opened her eyes. "This place," she said slowly, choosing each word with care. "It is quiet." "It's meant to be," Doyan replied. "No one comes here unless they need to." She nodded, as if she understood more than he expected. Doyan boiled water and cleaned his tools again. He did not know if human medicine would help her, but doing nothing was not an option. He gave her water. She drank carefully, studying the cup as if it were new technology. "You do not fear me," she said. "I do," Doyan answered honestly. "But fear doesn't mean I leave you to die." Her lips curved slightly. Not quite a smile. Outside, the sky lightened. Birds returned to the forest. The world acted as if nothing had changed. Hours passed. Alan slept. Doyan stayed awake. He checked her breathing again and again. Each time, relief washed over him. Near midday, the radio on the table crackled. "Doyan? You there?" It was Park Hanadat. He hesitated, then answered. "I'm here." "You disappeared last night," she said. The sensors went crazy. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," he said. "I found something strange." "That's not comforting," Hannah replied. "I'm coming over." Doyan looked at Alan. "Be careful," he said. When Hannah arrived, she noticed the damage to the trees right away. Her eyes narrowed as she stepped inside the cabin. Then she saw Alan. "She's not human," Hannah said flatly. "No," Doyan agreed. Hannah studied Alan closely, her scientific curiosity fighting with fear. "How is she alive?" "I don't know," Doyan said. "But she will be." Alan woke as if she sensed Hannah's presence. "You are many," she said softly. Hannah froze. "She speaks." "Learning," Alan corrected. Hannah took a slow breath. "What are you?" Alan looked at Doyan first. "A guest," Doyan said. Alan nodded. "Yes, a guest." The answer was clearly chosen. High above Earth, beyond human sight, dark shapes drifted through space. A fleet, screens lit up inside the lead vessel. Symbols flowed. Energy readings spiked. "The signal is confirmed," a cold voice said. "The Queen lives." Another voice replied, sharp and controlled. "Prepare retrieval. This world is insignificant." Back on Earth, Alan sat up for the first time. The movement cost her effort, but she hid the pain well. Your world, she said, looking through the cabin window, is loud in a quiet way. Do-yeon frowned. What does that mean? You struggle, Alan said. Yet you endure. Hannah crossed her arms. That's one way to put it. That night, strange things happened. The cabin lights flickered. The radio filled with static. Far away, satellites adjusted their paths without command. Alan stiffened. They are searching, she said. Who? Hannah asked. Alan hesitated. My people. Fear settled heavily in the room. They will not ask, Alan continued. They will take. Do-yeon stood. Then we won't let them. Alan looked at him with something close to disbelief. You are one world with no fleet, she said. They command the stars. Do-yeon met her gaze. We've survived worse with less. Silence followed. For the first time in her long life, Alan felt something unfamiliar, hope. Do-yeon stood outside the cabin, watching the trees sway. Birds flew away in groups, as if something unseen was pushing them out of the area. He had learned to trust signs like this. Nature always reacted first. Inside the cabin, Alan sat upright on the bed. She no longer looked weak. Her movements were slow, but controlled. The faint lines under her skin glowed brighter now, forming soft patterns along her neck and arms. Hannah noticed immediately. You're healing too fast, Hannah said. Alan tilted her head. Slow for my kind. That doesn't help, Hannah replied. Do-yeon entered and handed Alan a bowl of soup. She studied it, then tasted it carefully. This food, she said, is simple. That's normal here, Do-yeon said. She nodded. Your world values function over beauty. Hannah raised an eyebrow. We value surviving. Alan looked thoughtful at that dot. Later that day, the sky darkened too quickly. Clouds twisted into strange shapes. Phones lost signal. Radios filled with noise. Hannah tried calling the main station. Nothing. This isn't weather, she said. This is controlled. Alan stood, gripping the edge of the table. They are narrowing the search. Do-yeon's jaw tightened. You said they wouldn't ask. They never do, Alan replied. That night, Alan finally told the truth. They sat near the small heater as the wind howled outside. Do-yeon listened without interrupting. Hannah recorded nothing, choosing instead to remember every word. I am not a traveler, Alan said. I am Alan of the Star Throne. The words felt heavy in the room. A queen, Hannah whispered. Alan lowered her head. Yes, Do-yeon let out a slow breath. You should have said sooner. I could not, Alan replied. If they knew I lived, they would burn this world to reach me. Hannah looked sick. You still brought them here. Alan met her gaze. They were always coming. I chose where I would fall. Silence followed. Far above Earth, inside a vast ship of black metal, Queen Regent Marin watched the planet grow larger on the screen. Primitive, she said. They hide her among trees. They will resist, an advisor warned. Marin's lips curved. Then they will break. On Earth, military alarms sounded too late. Unidentified objects appeared on radar and vanished again. Oceans shifted. The sky glowed faintly at night. World leaders argued. Do-yeon watched the news feed in silence. They're scared, Hannah said. They should be, Do-yeon replied. But fear doesn't mean surrender. Alan studied the screen. Your kind does not unite easily. We do when pushed, Do-yeon said. The first message came at dawn. It appeared on every screen, every phone, every broadcast, a single symbol followed by translated words. Return the queen. This planet will be spared? Hannah slammed her fist on the table. They threaten the whole world. Alan closed her eyes. They always do. Do-yeon stood. Then we answer. How? Hannah asked. With truth, Doyan said. And noise. Using old emergency systems and hacked relays, they sent a response. Not from governments, but from people. Doctors, teachers, workers, soldiers. They spoke of choice. They spoke of one injured stranger helped without reward. The alien fleet paused. Marin's eyes narrowed. They dare speak? Alan watched the response data rise. For the first time, she said softly, they are listening. Outside the cabin, the forest stood its ground. So did humanity. It did not happen all at once. At first, people thought it was a strange sunset. Then the red stayed. Lines of light appeared like scars across the clouds. Stars faded, replaced by dark shapes that blocked the heavens. Across the world, people stopped and looked up. In the cabin, the floor trembled. Dust fell from the ceiling. Doyan steadied himself and checked the door. They are here. Alan said. Her voice was calm, but her hands trembled. Hannah opened her laptop again and again. Satellites are down. Power grids are unstable. Governments are trying to talk. They will not listen, Alan replied. Not to them. Outside, a beam of light touched the distant mountain. The stone melted without sound. Doyan clenched his fists. They're showing strength. They always do, Alan said. Fear is their language. Around the world, humans answered in their own way. Engineers rerouted power. Pilots flew without orders. Doctors stayed in hospitals. Civilians shared food and shelter. The internet flickered, but people found paths through it, like water finding cracks. Hannah looked at the screen, eyes wide. People are coordinating on their own. Doyan nodded. We've done this before. Alan watched, silent. In orbit. Queen Regent Marin grew impatient. They resist without weapons, she said. It is inefficient. They disrupt our scans, an officer replied. Civilian traffic masks the Queen's signal. Marin's gaze sharpened. Then we remove the mask. A warning flashed across human screens. Comply. Or be erased. Alan stepped forward. No, she said. Doyan turned to her. What are you doing? I will speak, she said. Not as prey. Hannah hesitated. If you reveal yourself, they already know, Alan replied. Now they will hear me. Using hacked relays and emergency channels, they opened a broadcast. Alan stood before the camera. The light from outside traced the patterns under her skin. I am Alan, she said. Your queen. The alien fleet stilled. Marin's smile vanished. You would side with them? Marin demanded through the channel. They saved me, Alan replied, without asking who I was. They are weak, Marin said. They slow you. Alan's voice did not rise. They choose. That is strength. Marin laughed. Then watched them burn. A beam began to charge above the ocean. Doyan moved without thinking. He grabbed the manual. Transmitter Hannah had built and boosted the signal, feeding it into every open channel. Listen, he said. The message was simple. No surrender. No silence. Across the world, people repeated it. The noise grew. Alien systems faltered. Targeting blurred. The beam wavered. Marin slammed her hand down. They are insects. They are united, an officer said. Alan watched Earth's signal swell like a heartbeat. Enough, she said. Stand down. For a moment, the stars seemed to hold their breath. Then the beam shut off. The fleet did not retreat, but it did not fire. On the ground, people realized something important. The sky had not fallen, not yet, and humanity was still standing. The silence after the beam shut down felt heavier than the threat itself. Across Earth, people waited. Some prayed. Some worked. Some simply held each other and watched the sky. In the cabin, Alan stood very still. The light under her skin dimmed, then steadied. She looked tired in a way Doyan had never seen before. "They will not stop," she said. "Not unless I end this." Doyan shook his head. "You don't owe them obedience." "I owe my people a future," Alan replied. "And now I owe yours the truth." Hannah looked between them. "What are you planning?" Alan met her eyes. "To take my throne here, now." High above, Queen Regent Marin watched Earth's signals stabilize instead of break. Human systems adapted faster than expected. The planet refused to collapse. "This world should be afraid," Marin said. "They are," an officer replied. "They act anyway." Marin's fingers tightened. "Prepare for direct descent." The sky over the forest opened. A single vessel broke through the clouds, massive and dark. It did not fire. It landed, trees bent. The ground shook. Doyan stepped outside with Ellen. Hannah stayed close, recording everything. The ship opened, and Marin emerged, tall and radiant, surrounded by guards. "Sister's child," Marin said coldly. "You embarrass us." Alan did not bow. "You rule through fear," she said. "I will not." Marin laughed. "You stand on dirt with animals." Doyan spoke then. "She was injured," he said. "We helped her." "That's it." Marin turned her gaze on him. For a moment, the air pressed down. "You are nothing," she said. Doyan did not move. "Maybe, but we choose." Alan raised her hand. "By the laws of our people," she said, voice carrying far beyond the clearing, "I claim the throne. Not by blood alone, but by witness. Human cameras, human voices, human choice." The fleet hesitated. Marin's face hardened. "You would bind us to them?" "Yes," Alan said. "They showed me strength without chains." For a long moment, nothing happened. Then one by one, alien ships powered down their weapons. Marin stepped back. "You will regret this," she said. "Perhaps," Alan replied. "But it will be my regret." The fleet withdrew. The sky cleared. Across Earth, cheers rose, then quiet tears. Days later, Alan prepared to leave. She stood at the edge of the forest with Doyan. "I will protect this world," she said. "Not because it is strong, but because it is kind." Doyan nodded. "That's enough." She placed a small device in his hand. "For healing, not weapons." Then she was gone. The forest returned to normal, but the stars remembered.